The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning. It flashed across every screen in the United Earth Defense Command Center, its alien text smoothly transforming into English. Commander Jack Stone watched the words appear, his coffee cup frozen halfway to his mouth. By order of the Galactic Council, all human military forces are hereby banned from participating in any form of galactic warfare, effective immediately. Stone read the message 3 times, trying to make sense of it. Around him, the command center erupted into chaos. Phones rang, officers shouted across the room, and somewhere in the background, someone was laughing hysterically. "This has to be a joke," muttered Colonel Peters, Stone's second-in-command. "We've been fighting alongside these aliens for 15 years. Why ban us now?" Stone set down his coffee, remembering the first time humans had met their galactic neighbors. It had been 50 years ago, when a massive ship appeared over New York. Unlike the disaster movies, they came in peace, offering humanity a chance to join the greater galactic community. Earth had jumped at the opportunity. Within a decade, humans were traveling between stars, trading with alien species, and even joining military alliances. Stone himself had commanded joint forces in 3 different conflicts. "Get me Admiral White," Stone ordered, his voice cutting through the chaos. "And someone find out if our forces in the Centauri sector got this message too." The next few hours were a blur of activity. Reports flooded in from every human military installation across known space. The ban was universal. Human ships were being politely but firmly asked to return to Earth-controlled space. Human soldiers were being removed from joint operations. Even human military advisors were being sent home. "It doesn't make any sense." Admiral White's hologram flickered as she spoke from Lunar Command. "Our combat effectiveness ratings are among the highest in the galaxy. We've won medals in every joint operation we've participated in." "Maybe that's the problem," Stone said quietly, an idea forming in his mind. He remembered the strange looks alien commanders would give him during battle planning. The way they sometimes seemed shocked by human tactics. Maybe we're too effective. The Admiral's eyebrows rose. "Too effective at fighting? That's ridiculous." "Is it?" Stone pulled up records from their last engagement, the Battle of Proxima Station. "Look at the casualty reports. Look at the tactical decisions. Compare them to our alien allies." As they reviewed the data, a pattern emerged. In every battle, human forces had the highest kill rates, the most strategic victories, and the most efficient use of resources. They also had the most complaints filed against them by both allies and enemies. Commander Stone, a young lieutenant, interrupted, her face pale. "We just received another message from the Council. They're sending an enforcement fleet to ensure compliance. They'll be here in 3 days." Stone straightened his uniform. "Admiral, I need your authorization. There's something not right about this ban, and I think I know where to start looking for answers. You want to investigate, while we're facing a potential diplomatic crisis. The Council gave us no explanation, no warning. They just expect us to accept this ban without question. That's not how humans work." Admiral White was quiet for a long moment. Finally, she nodded. "You have 48 hours before the enforcement fleet arrives. Find out what's really going on here." As Stone left the command center, he couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something obvious. Humans had fought alongside aliens, learned their tactics, shared victories and defeats, but there had always been something odd about galactic warfare, something that never quite made sense. Looking out the window at the gleaming spires of New Washington, Stone made a silent promise. He would uncover the truth behind this ban, no matter where it led. Because if there was one thing humans were good at besides fighting, it was solving mysteries. Little did he know, the real reason would change humanity's understanding of galactic warfare forever. Station Beta 7 hung in space like a giant silver snowflake. Commander Stone watched through his ship's viewport as the massive archive station grew larger. Built by the Galactic Council over 300 years ago, it held records of every major event in modern galactic history. The docking process took 30 minutes. Stone noticed his small ship was the only human vessel in the entire bay. The ban was clearly being taken seriously. "Welcome to the Galactic Archives," a smooth voice spoke as Stone stepped through the airlock. The speaker was tall and thin, with blue-tinted skin that seemed to shimmer. "I am Keeper Blue. We don't get many humans here anymore. I'm Commander Stone, Earth Defense. I need to research the recent military ban on humans." Blue's large eyes blinked slowly. "Ah, that information is restricted. I have clearance from both Earth Command and the Council," Stone said, showing his credentials. He didn't mention that his Council clearance would expire in less than 24 hours. The alien archivist seemed nervous, his long fingers tapping against his leg. "Very well. Follow me." They walked through endless corridors lined with data crystals, each containing thousands of records. Stone noticed how Blue kept glancing at him, like he was worried the human might explode. "Here," Blue said, stopping at a terminal. "You may access general military records from this station." But he hesitated. "You should know that someone else has been asking about humans and warfare recently." Stone's interest piqued. "Who?" "A council member. They were particularly interested in something called the Mars Incident." Blue's voice dropped to a whisper at the last words. Stone had never heard of any Mars incident, which was strange considering he knew every major military engagement involving humans. "Can you show me those records?" "Those are sealed at the highest level," Blue said quickly. "Too quickly. Even your clearance won't." "Show me everything else." Then Stone interrupted. "Every complaint filed against human forces, every battle report, every assessment." For the next few hours, Stone read report after report. A pattern began to emerge, but it made no sense. The complaints weren't about human brutality or war crimes. Instead, aliens seemed confused and disturbed by standard human tactics. One report caught his eye. During the Battle of Rigel, human forces had dug trenches to protect their position. The alien commander had filed a formal protest, calling it an incomprehensible and disturbing tactic that goes against all principles of honorable combat. Another report described human soldiers using camouflage as deceptive and alarming. A third complained about humans fighting at night, calling it an unfair exploitation of darkness. "Keeper Blue," Stone called out, knowing the alien had been hovering nearby. "Why do these reports sound like the aliens have never seen basic combat tactics before?" Blue's skin rippled with color, a sign of distress. "Commander, there's something you should see." But he looked around nervously. "Not here. Meet me in storage section D17 in 1 hour. And please, be discreet." Stone spent the next hour reviewing more reports. Each one added to his growing suspicion that there was something very strange about how aliens viewed warfare. When he reached section D17, a dark and rarely used storage area, Blue was already waiting. The alien held a small data crystal in his trembling hands. "This is forbidden," Blue whispered, "but you humans deserve to know. This contains partial records of the Mars incident. I can't give you everything." But he pressed the crystal into Stone's hand. "This will help you understand." "Understand what?" "Why you were banned. Why everyone was so shocked by human warfare. Why?" Blue suddenly stiffened, looking past Stone. "Someone's coming. You must go. Now." Stone pocketed the crystal and quickly moved behind a tall shelf. He heard voices approaching, voices speaking the formal tones of council officials. As he carefully made his way back to his ship, Stone held the crystal tight. Whatever the Mars incident was, it held the key to understanding why humanity had been banned from galactic warfare. And he had less than 24 hours to uncover the truth. Commander Stone's hands shook as he inserted the crystal into his ship's computer. The screen flickered to life, showing fragments of classified reports and video footage from 15 years ago. The Mars incident, as it turned out, wasn't on Mars at all. It was just named after the human god of war. A message alert interrupted his reading. "Commander," his ship's AI announced, "Admiral Thompson is responding to your emergency contact request." The screen split, showing the weathered face of the retired admiral. Thompson had gone gray, but his eyes were as sharp as ever. "Stone, what's so urgent that you're calling me at this hour?" "Sir, I need to know about the Mars incident." Thompson's face went pale. "Who told you about that?" "That's beyond classified. The entire human race just got banned from warfare, sir. I think we deserve to know why." The old admiral was quiet for a long moment. "It was supposed to be a simple ceremonial battle," he finally said. "That's what they told us. Our first major engagement as part of the Galactic Defense Force." Stone leaned forward. "Ceremonial. They called it the Battle of Harmonious Intent. 4 species would demonstrate their military might, showing their worthiness to join the next tier of galactic society." Thompson laughed bitterly. "Nobody told us it was just supposed to be a show." The admiral pressed something on his end, and new files appeared on Stone's screen. "We prepared like it was a real battle. Deployed scouts, set up defensive positions, planned for every contingency. The other species arrived in brightly colored ships, all lined up in neat rows." Stone watched the footage. The alien ships were indeed arranged in perfect formations, their weapons decorated with bright ribbons. It looked more like a parade than a battle. Then the signal was given. Thompson continued. "The other species started this elaborate dance with their ships, firing beautiful patterns of energy weapons into space, missing each other on purpose. We thought they were warming up." Stone's eyes widened as he watched what happened next. The human ships, not understanding this was meant to be choreographed, launched a full tactical assault. They struck from multiple angles, used electronic warfare, and disabled half the alien fleet in under 10 minutes. "We thought we did everything right," Thompson said quietly. "Used minimal force, took no lives, achieved our objectives efficiently. But when it was over," he shook his head. "The aliens were horrified, not because we won, but because we actually tried to win." "I don't understand," Stone said. "Isn't that the point of warfare?" "Not to them. We learned later that galactic warfare hasn't been about actual fighting for thousands of years. It's all ceremonial, ritualistic. They score points based on the beauty and complexity of their military displays." Stone thought about all the strange complaints he'd read in the archives. The confusion over trenches, the protests about camouflage. It all made sense now. "Even worse," Thompson continued, "we showed them something they'd forgotten. Real tactical warfare. Real strategy. We didn't just break their rules. We reminded them of what war used to be, what it could be again. And that's why they banned us. Because we're too good at actual fighting. Because we showed them that their ceremonial battles were just pretend. Because we scared them." Stone. "Not with our violence, but with our competence." Thompson looked tired. "After the Mars incident, they created a new classification for humanity. Called us natural warriors, species that still retain pure combat instincts." Stone checked his time display. The enforcement fleet would arrive in just a few hours. "So what do we do now?" "Now," Thompson smiled sadly. "Now you know the truth. The galaxy doesn't fear our brutality. They fear our efficiency, our adaptability, our ability to take warfare beyond ceremony and back to its roots. They fear that we'll teach others to do the same," Stone realized. "Exactly. So they banned us. Because sometimes, Commander, being too good at something can be just as dangerous as being too evil." The truth was finally clear. Humans weren't banned because they were violent. They were banned because they had reminded the galaxy of what real warfare looked like, and nobody wanted to remember that. Commander Stone spent the next 2 hours going through every record of alien warfare he could find. With his new understanding, he finally saw what he'd been missing all along. The signs had always been there. He pulled up footage from the Battle of Centauri Prime. What he'd once seen as poor tactical decisions by alien commanders now appeared completely different. Their ships moved in perfect patterns, like dancers in space. Their weapons fire created stunning light shows. It wasn't warfare. It was art. "Computer, show me the Galactic War scoring system," he commanded. The screen filled with complex charts. Points were awarded for formation complexity, weapon display patterns, and something called honorable positioning. Actual hits on enemy ships counted for very little. In fact, causing serious damage could lose you points. Stone remembered a battle where his fleet had used an asteroid field for cover. The alien admirals had been shocked. Now he understood why. Hiding your ships ruined the visual display. It was like ducking behind the curtain during a ballet performance. A message flashed on his screen. It was Keeper Blue from the archives. "Commander, I found more records you need to see." The alien's voice shook with excitement. The history of how warfare changed. It's fascinating and terrifying. The records showed that thousands of years ago, galactic civilization had nearly destroyed itself in a brutal war. The survivors made a choice to turn warfare from destruction into performance. Generation after generation, real combat skills were forgotten. Battle became ceremony. But humans never went through this change, Blue explained. You kept the old ways, the real ways. Stone thought about basic human military concepts. Surprise attacks, camouflage, tactical retreats, guerrilla warfare. To humans, these were fundamental. To the galaxy, they were forgotten horrors. He opened a file showing alien children practicing their first war dance. They moved their toy ships in perfect circles, firing bright beams that deliberately missed each other. Their teachers scored them on style and grace. Meanwhile, human children played capture the flag, learning about stealth and strategy without even realizing it. "Computer, show me the training records for the Galactic Defense Force," Stone commanded. The difference was stunning. Alien soldiers spent years learning complex flight patterns and ceremonial weapon displays. Their combat simulations looked more like synchronized swimming than warfare. Even their war rooms were set up like theater stages. Stone's communicator beeped. Admiral White's face appeared, looking worried. "The enforcement fleet will be here in 3 hours," she said. "Please tell me you found something useful." "I found everything," Stone replied. "Admiral, their entire concept of warfare is different from ours. They don't fight battles, they perform them." He sent her the files, watching as she reviewed them with growing amazement. This is why they always seemed so rigid in joint operations, she realized. Why they never adapted to changing situations. They weren't trying to win. They were trying to put on a good show. And we ruined their show by actually fighting. Stone added, "Every time we used basic combat tactics, we weren't just winning. We were breaking their rules. Rules so deeply embedded in their culture that they can't even imagine fighting any other way." "So what's our option?" White asked. "Learn to dance with our ships." "No," Stone said firmly. "I think we have a bigger responsibility. Computer, show the galactic threat analysis." The screen filled with reports of strange signals from beyond known space, unknown ships at the galaxy's edge, signs that something else might be out there, something that might not care about ceremonial warfare. "The galaxy chose to forget real combat," Stone said. "But what happens if they face an enemy that doesn't play by their rules? An enemy that fights like we do?" Admiral White's eyes widened as she understood. "They need us. They fear us because we remember what they chose to forget," Stone said. "And someday that knowledge might be the only thing that saves them." The enforcement fleet was almost here. But now, Stone knew exactly what he had to tell them. With just 2 hours until the enforcement fleet's arrival, Commander Stone asked Keeper Blue to show him something specific. The recorded reactions of alien officials watching human combat footage for the first time. "Are you sure you want to see this?" Blue asked nervously. "Many of my people found these recordings disturbing." Stone nodded, and Blue started the first video. The footage showed a group of high-ranking alien officials sitting in a comfortable viewing room. They were watching a training exercise from the human Marine Corps. The aliens had drinks and snacks, clearly expecting another ceremonial display. Their comfortable mood didn't last long. The video showed human Marines doing a night raid exercise. They used the darkness for cover. They crawled through mud to stay hidden. They coordinated their attacks using hand signals. When they struck, it was quick and decisive. Look at their faces. Blue pointed at the alien officials in the recording. They weren't just shocked. They were completely bewildered. One of them spilled his drink. Another started taking rapid notes. "Show me more," Stone said. The next video showed human pilots in combat. Instead of flying in beautiful formations, they used the terrain for cover. They executed unpredictable maneuvers. They targeted enemy weak points. Most shocking to the aliens was how human pilots would sometimes purposely damage their own ships to achieve mission objectives. They called this savage brilliance. Blue explained, pulling up alien reports. They couldn't understand why you would sacrifice beauty for effectiveness. Stone watched video after video, now seeing them through alien eyes. Basic human tactics that seemed obvious to him were completely foreign to them. Soldiers using trenches for protection. Ships hiding in asteroid fields. Fake retreats that turned into ambushes. Electronic warfare and communication jamming. Psychological operations to confuse the enemy. But this was the footage that truly frightened them. Blue said, starting the final video. It showed the human response to a surprise attack on a colony world. Instead of taking time to form proper battle formations, the human ships launched immediately. They fought from bad positions. They improvised with damaged equipment. They adapted their tactics moment by moment. And they won. You see, Blue said quietly, it's not just that humans know ancient combat techniques. It's that you can create new ones instantly. You adapt. You improvise. You overcome. Stone understood now. The aliens hadn't banned humans because they were too violent. They had banned humans because they were too unpredictable, too adaptable, too willing to do whatever it took to win. There's one more thing you should see, Blue said, hands shaking as he pulled up a final file. This is from deep space monitoring stations. We've detected something out there, beyond known space, something that doesn't respond to ceremonial signals. The grainy footage showed dark ships moving in patterns that looked familiar to Stone. They weren't flying in formation. They were hunting. How many others have seen this? Stone asked. Only the highest levels of the Council, Blue admitted. They're scared, Commander. The galaxy has forgotten how to really fight. But now, something is coming that won't care about ceremony. Stone checked the time. The enforcement fleet would arrive soon. But now he had everything he needed. Proof that humanity's ban wasn't about punishment. It was about fear. Not fear of human violence, but fear of what humans represented. The memory of real warfare. His communicator beeped. Admiral White's face appeared. Commander, the enforcement fleet just dropped out of hyperspace. They're requesting to speak with our representatives. Stone looked at the footage of the dark ships one more time. Tell them I'm coming up with a solution. One they're not going to like, but one they might soon desperately need. The galaxy had chosen to turn warfare into art, but art wouldn't be enough against what was coming. They needed warriors. They needed humans. The enforcement fleet was massive. 50 ships arranged in a perfect spiral pattern, their hulls gleaming with decorative lights. Under normal circumstances, it would have been a beautiful sight. But Commander Stone now understood this display wasn't just for show. It was the only way they knew how to fight. They're requesting permission to dock with our station, Admiral White reported from Earth Command. The Council's chief war choreographer is leading the delegation. Good, Stone said. Have them meet me in the main briefing room. And make sure we have full holographic display capabilities. As Stone waited in the briefing room, he organized his evidence. The historical records from Blue, the combat footage, the deep space scans, everything that proved humanity wasn't the threat. They were the solution. The alien delegation entered like dancers, their movements perfectly coordinated. The chief war choreographer was tall and elegant, wearing a uniform covered in bright metals for most harmonious battle performance and excellence in combat aesthetics. Commander Stone, the choreographer, said smoothly, "We are here to ensure humanity's compliance with the combat ban. Please do not make this difficult." Stone stood up straight. "Before you enforce this ban, I need to show you something." Computer, display deep space, scan Alpha 7. The room darkened, and a hologram appeared. It showed the dark ships Blue had discovered, moving like predators through the void. "What is this?" the choreographer asked, his perfect posture slipping slightly. "This is what real warfare looks like," Stone said. Computer, split screen. Show ceremonial battle patterns on the left. The hologram divided. On one side, the alien ships danced their beautiful patterns. On the other, the dark ships moved with deadly purpose. "These unknown ships appeared at the edge of our space 3 months ago," Stone explained. "They don't respond to ceremonial signals. They don't follow battle protocol. They're not here to dance." The alien officials whispered among themselves, their confidence cracking. "Now watch this," Stone said. Computer, show tactical response simulation alpha. A new hologram appeared, showing human ships engaging the dark vessels. The humans didn't use beautiful formations. They adapted. They used terrain. They fought with everything they had. "This is why you really banned us," Stone said. "Not because we're violent, not because we're crude, but because we remember what you chose to forget: how to fight for survival." The choreographer's face had lost its elegant calm. "You don't understand. We spent thousands of years moving beyond such primitive methods. And that's admirable," Stone agreed. "Your ceremonial warfare is beautiful. It's peaceful. It's civilized. But what happens when you face an enemy that doesn't care about civilization?" He played the final piece of evidence, the Mars incident footage. But this time, he showed it side by side with tactical analysis, demonstrating how human strategies could protect against real threats. "You banned us because we scared you," Stone said. "Because we showed you what real warfare looks like. But now something is coming that will show you the same thing. And when it does, you'll need us." The room was silent. The alien officials looked at each other, their perfect composure completely gone. "What exactly are you proposing?" the choreographer finally asked. "Don't enforce the ban," Stone said. "Instead, let us help you remember, not to destroy your ceremonial warfare, that should continue, but to prepare for enemies who won't play by your rules." "You want to teach us," one of the officials sounded horrified. "We want to protect you," Stone corrected. "Let humanity be your defenders, your warriors. While you perform your beautiful battles, we'll stand guard against real threats." The choreographer stared at the footage of the dark ships. For the first time in the galaxy's recent history, someone had to make a choice between beauty and survival. "The council will need to vote," he said finally. "Of course," Stone replied. "But remember, those ships out there, they're not waiting for a vote." The future of warfare in the galaxy hung in the balance, and humanity's role in it was about to change forever. 1 month after the Enforcement Fleet's visit, Commander Stone stood before the full Galactic Council. The Grand Chamber was packed with representatives from every spacefaring species. They had spent 3 weeks debating humanity's fate. Today, they would announce their decision. The council leader rose from her ornate chair. Unlike the last time, there was no ceremonial dance before the announcement. No beautiful light display. Just straight talk, a sign that they had finally understood the gravity of the situation. After reviewing the evidence presented by Commander Stone, the Council has reached a decision regarding humanity's status in galactic warfare. Stone stood straight, keeping his face neutral. Behind him, Admiral White and several Earth representatives waited tensely. "The ban on human military forces will be modified," the Council leader declared. Humanity will serve a new role in galactic society, not as participants in our ceremonial combat, but as guardians of our civilization. A murmur ran through the chamber. The council leader raised her hand for silence. We have existed in peace for thousands of years, turning the horror of war into art. But in doing so, we forgot something vital: how to defend ourselves against those who do not share our values. She gestured, and a hologram appeared, showing the dark ships at the galaxy's edge. They had moved closer in the past month. Humanity will establish what we are calling the Guardian Fleet. They will protect our borders, train special defense forces, and stand ready to face threats that cannot be defeated with ceremony. Stone saw many council members shifting uncomfortably. This was a massive change in galactic society, but the evidence had been too strong to ignore. In return, the council leader continued, humanity will respect our traditions. They will not interfere with ceremonial warfare between member species. They will not teach their combat methods except to those in the Guardian Fleet. And most importantly, they will help us maintain the peace we have built. Admiral White stepped forward. Earth accepts these terms. We will be your guardians, while respecting the beautiful tradition you have created. The council leader nodded. Then let it be recorded. The human ban is lifted, replaced by the Guardian Accord. As the council members filed out, Stone felt a presence beside him. It was Keeper Blue, clutching a new data crystal. I started a new archive section, Blue said excitedly. The Guardian Chronicles, to record how humanity helps protect our way of life. Stone smiled. I hope those records stay quiet for a long time. But we'll be ready if they're needed. Admiral White added. The Guardian Fleet already has volunteers from 15 species wanting to train with us. Stone looked out the chamber's window at the stars. Somewhere out there, unknown ships were moving in the darkness. But now, the galaxy had remembered something it had chosen to forget. Sometimes peace must be protected by those who remember how to fight. 2 years later, Commander Stone stood on the bridge of the Guardian Fleet's flagship. Around him, crews of mixed species worked together. Some had been trained in human combat methods. Others maintained their ceremonial traditions. Both had their place now. A young alien cadet approached him. Commander, we've decoded more transmissions from the dark ships. They're definitely hostile. Definitely coming. Stone nodded. Are you scared? No, sir, the cadet replied. Because we're ready. Really ready, not just ceremonially ready. That was humanity's real gift to the galaxy. Not violence, not brutality, but the wisdom to know when ceremony must give way to survival. The galaxy still had its beautiful ceremonial wars, its dance of ships in space. But now, it also had guardians, watching from the shadows, ready to fight the real battles. And somewhere in the galactic archives, Keeper Blue had recorded the truth. Humans weren't banned because they were too warlike. They were banned because they remembered what the galaxy needed to remember again. That sometimes peace must be protected by those who never forgot the true meaning of war. The end.